Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. All right. For decades, we've chased the next big breakthrough in construction. Modular, panelization, robotics, automation, artificial intelligence. Every few years, another technology promises to finally solve housing. Yet, productivity barely moves, housing becomes more expensive, projects take longer, labor shortages grow. So maybe we've been asking the wrong questions all along. Maybe the problem isn't how we manufacture buildings. Maybe it's how we execute them. Today's guest believes construction doesn't fail because of bad products. It fails because the entire process isn't connected. From design, verification, manufacturing, delivery, installation, they're still operating as separate systems. Josh Lewis is the Chief Operating Officer of FrameTech. His company isn't trying to build better wall panels. They're trying to build a better construction system. After watching the presentation you're about to see, Josh will join us live from one of their active job sites where we'll dig deeper into what execution control really means and whether it could fundamentally change how America builds. But first, we have to have a few words from our supporting members. Brought to you by GreatTech, developers of the complete light gauge steel and wood framing software for Revit StruxSoft. Offsite, modular, or prefabricated, StruxSoft Framer turns Revit into a powerful manufacturing tool, automating every step of the DFMA process from design to final delivery. StruxSoft doesn't just work with Revit, it transforms it. Jumpstart your designs at StruxSoftSolutions.com. Housekeeping Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for offsite modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, housekeepingltd.com. When the delivery can't fail, standard transportation isn't enough. Oversized, time-critical, high-risk, specialized transportation supports advanced projects nationwide. From data centers to the delivery and set of homes and offices. With more than 60 years of experience, we've transported over 60,000 projects, served more than 200 U.S. cities, and logged over 70 million miles. When failure isn't an option, choose the leader in specialized transportation. All right, welcome everybody back to the Dave Cooper Live Show. A few housekeeping things, then we're going to get into this presentation. First up and foremost, we want you to and join us at the Exchange. That's right. With Informa, we will be at the Building Show in Toronto. This is over 20,000 attendees. Not only do we have our own stage, but we have our own space on the trade show floor. This is commercial and residential. It's tied to the Developers Conference as well. This is a place you're going to want to be. If you're interested in speaking or joining us there, hey, there's the QR code. Pull out your phone, take a picture of it. We'd love to have you on stage. If you want to support us and have your name all over it, we're also open to that. Or maybe you just want to attend. You can find all the information at this link right here. And to top it off, there is more than just that. As you can see in that top left corner, DCL is a prime partner and media sponsor for the Mass Timber Plus show coming up in Philadelphia. We will be on the trade show floor. If you want to be part of this event, just like the last one, there's a QR code right up in the corner there. Go ahead and pull out your phone, take a picture of it. We'd love to see you there. We'd love to have your support. And then, of course, last but not least, we're always looking for guests for the show. If you think you or somebody you know would make a great guest for the Dave Cooper Live show, once again, there's a QR code. We're trying to simplify it for all of you out there. Click on that QR code and please sign up or sign somebody else up. We're always trying to grow this environment in the built world with the executives and the people that are shaping the future of it. And with that said, also thank you to all of our supporting members in that ticker you see below. We can't do any or all of this without them. All right. So without further ado, let's watch this opening video that's going to explain exactly what FrameTech does. And then we're going to go live on a job site.
The FrameTech formula. Everybody in this room understands the housing crisis. We are millions of units short. Prices outpace income, labor has thinned, cycle times stretch, and costs climb. Every year, a new solution is announced. Full modular, 3D printing, factory-built everything. Robotics that promise to replace half the workforce.
And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of those will never move the housing needle at scale. Not because they lack ambition, because they violate the structural constraints of this industry. If a system cannot maintain full architectural flexibility, allow consumers to own the home they actually want, operate within existing building codes, integrate with today's trade base, require zero wholesale retooling, it will remain a niche, a minority market share, a press release. It will not scale in our lifetime. Because housing is not just a manufacturing problem. It is a human ecosystem. For decades, our movement has tried to industrialize fragments. More drawings, more coordination software, more prefabrication, more automation, bigger factories. Productivity didn't move because the system was never closed. Digital models assume perfection. Reality never complies. Factories optimize around equipment. Housing must optimize around the homeowner. Labor absorbs ambiguity under pressure. Compromise becomes the rule. And we've all pretended that's normal. We blame site conditions. We blame the trades. We blame the builders. But we've never looked in the mirror. The truth is uncomfortable. The failure of offsite construction to date has largely been our own. We tried to industrialize the parts without controlling the system. Factories alone cannot industrialize construction. Execution control can. And until that changes, Industrialization will continue to fail, no matter how impressive the factory looks. At FrameTech, we've decided to stop pretending. We didn't just build a better framing company, a better manufacturing company, a better distribution company. We built all three. Then we engineered the execution architecture that unifies them. Because optimizing parts doesn't fix construction. Controlling the system does. The FrameTech formula. 6 steps, ordered, disciplined, non-negotiable.
Step 1, whole house design. We don't design for permits. We design for execution. If it interacts with framing, it's resolved upstream. Provisions for MEPs, cabinets, finishes. But we don't stop at coordination. We deploy proprietary AI-driven clash detection and conflict mitigation across the entire structure.
Every file is pushed through a controlled execution pipeline. Conflicts are identified before labor is applied, before material is cut, before the job site absorbs the cost. Nothing gets figured out later, because later is the most expensive word in building. And here's what matters most. We preserve architectural freedom. Our system works on every product type and becomes a force multiplier for the trades that follow us. The factory serves the building, not the other way around. If Offsite requires standardizing the American dream just to make the math work, we've already lost. Step 2, embedded digital intelligence. Most digital models live on a screen and never see the job site. Ours becomes physically unavoidable. Embedded digital intelligence removes interpretation between design intent and physical execution. Files are ingested, normalized, validated, then processed through our internal AI engine. Clashes are resolved, fabrication logic is embedded, execution instructions are generated, and then it becomes physical. Horizontal intelligence delivered through our dusty robotics field printers. Full-scale, one-to-one multi-trade layout printed directly on the slab. Perfectly coordinated with the vertical intelligence embedded in our components. Walls and trusses arrive drilled, marked, notched, with hardware integrated and connection points defined. These are not simple structural components in the traditional sense. These are coordinated assemblies built with downstream trades in mind. Crews don't interpret drawings, they assemble instructions with the same tools they've always used. No retraining, no new trade classifications, no exotic equipment. Just clarity. Powered upstream by AI, delivered downstream in concrete, wood, and steel. Step 3, the ground zero survey.
This is where industrialized construction has historically collapsed. Factories assume the site is correct. Site conditions never match the model.
Foundation dimensions drift, embeds move, physical reality refuses to cooperate with the model. For decades, the industry has assumed we build per plan. We don't. In fact, there has never been a home constructed exactly per the drawings. Ground Zero is a proprietary execution control layer and a FrameTech first. Before fabrication begins, we reconcile digital intent with physical reality. We verify geometry, map embeds, capture penetrations, validate tolerance conditions. This is not traditional surveying. It is fabrication-grade verification. Every data point feeds directly back into our execution pipeline. If something's wrong, we fix the site or we adjust the model. Bi-directional correction. No assumptions, no improvisation, no downstream compromise. You cannot industrialize chaos. You must control it first. Without this step, prefab can't work. With it, industrialization becomes scalable. Step 4, offsite fabrication. Automation without control magnifies chaos. So we eliminate variability first, then we automate. FrameTech invested in the best fabrication equipment in the world. And when we needed something that didn't exist, we innovated and built it ourselves. Things like advanced laser printing arrays and embedded RFID tags. Persistent intelligence that remains in the structure long after the home is completed. This is not conventional component manufacturing. This is digitally controlled fabrication, a single synchronized system. Every provision required by our framers and every trade that follows them is embedded before the component ever leaves the plant. We remove the 2-foot increment waste problem. We eliminate manual optimization. We stabilize material inputs, and we deliver components that are trade ready. These are not raw lumber packages cut to length. These are engineered systems. Once on site, the work is not fabrication, it's erection. Installation becomes assembly, not problem solving. And it works as well on a starter home as it does on a 4-story hotel, as it does on a $5 million custom build. Industrialization without architectural sacrifice, rare. Industrialization that aligns with the trades instead of replacing them, unprecedented. Step 5, just-in-time delivery. Bulk delivery looks efficient until it sits in the mud for 3 weeks. Material sitting idle isn't inventory, it's risk. Weather damage, exposure, theft, congestion. So we sequence delivery to installation readiness. Material never outruns labor. Labor never waits on material. Flow replaces clutter. Execution replaces chaos. Step 6, installation. This is where the system proves itself and the impact becomes undeniable. We don't retrain the industry. We don't replace framers. We make them more efficient. Framing, backing, quality control, one mobilization. Every downstream trade moves faster. Electricians aren't hunting for backing. Plumbers aren't improvising penetrations. Mechanical isn't negotiating with the structure. They didn't change. The environment changed. That's scalability. If your solution requires rewriting the building code, rebuilding supply chains, replacing half the workforce, convincing consumers to accept less choice, it will not scale. It will demo well. It will look impressive on social media. It may even raise capital, but it will not move national housing supply, and it will not solve the housing crisis. FrameTech works because it respects constraints. Existing codes, existing trades, existing tools, existing expectations. We increase trade productivity without reducing trade scope. We preserve architectural freedom without sacrificing efficiency. We industrialize the system without fighting the ecosystem. Conservative impact, $16,000 to $28,000 per unit. Deployable today, under today's codes, with today's labor, at scale. The housing crisis does not need another prototype. It needs execution control. Control of the system, control of the data, control of the outcome. That is the FrameTech formula. More than a framer, unmatched as one.
All right, Josh, how you doing, brother?
Good, Dave. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. Looks like you're somewhere sunny and warm.
Yeah, Central Arizona. Beautiful day today.
Yeah. So, Josh, last time we connected was at a private event called The Shift in Lake Nona, Florida, which was great. And you guys gave a great presentation to 60 pretty influential people from around the world. So I wanted to publicly thank you for that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the invitation. That was a great event.
It was. All right, Josh, I know you're busy and you're working. I love the presentation. I'm just going to get into some questions here real quick. With the presentation itself really challenged something I think many believe in the offsite space, and that's that factories are, that factories are the answer or are not the answer, but only remember one thing if we remember one thing from today, you know, execution, control. Why does it matter? And can you answer, are factories the answer, or are they just a piece of the entire solution?
It's a great question. So I think factories are the answer. We have to go with the offsite model. It's the only way to meet demand quick enough, and it's the only way to bring the efficiencies of industrialization to the job site. But as a veteran of the offsite industry for the last 25 years, I can tell you where we've missed is we've built factories for the factory's sake. Factory wants to make the same widget over and over again. We've started from the wrong direction. What we need to do is start field first. We need to figure out what the real constraints to the workforce is and solve it from that way backwards. And that's what the FrameTech formula really strives to do is, out here in the dirt with the guys and figure out, hey, what's the problem? What holds you back? Where is the coordination missing? And then deploy solutions that have measurable impact out on the slab where it matters most.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the turning point here. You said industrialized construction doesn't fail because the factories failed. It failed because execution wasn't controlled. When was it that FrameTech realized that? And was there a specific project where the light bulb kind of went off on this whole idea?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really early on. FrameTech's first, dozen or so houses, we came out and performed extraordinarily well as a framer. But then I saw those houses sit, and they sat and sat and sat, and our work started to look worse and worse and worse. That's the one thing about this Arizona sun is it makes framing lumber look really bad really quick. So what we thought was, hey, okay, we solved a problem, but we didn't bring any value to the builder. We brought zero value to the builder by framing fast, and the argument could be made that we made things worse because now we have a liability in work that's unprotected and out in the weather and everything like that. So it wasn't 12 houses in, Dave, that we figured out, hey, we have to solve the problem from a more holistic picture. And so that's where we started our multi-trade coordination and really started looking at the product from the builder's perspective. The builder only realizes the value that the trades bring at a certificate of occupancy and not a second sooner. So we really started working the problem backwards from there and saying, okay, how can we get houses to a C of O and turned over to that home buyer faster, more efficiently, and more cost effectively?
Yeah, I love it. Let's talk about the ground zero verification process. It fascinates me the way you're thinking about this. Can you walk us through what actually happens before a single wall is manufactured and why that one step really changes everything?
Yeah, so if you talk to any old salty superintendent or really construction executive that has been around for last 30, 40 years, they've all tried wall panels. And I would bet you paychecks, Dave, that if you took 5 guys, the first thing you're going to hear is, well, what if the slab doesn't match the drawings? What if the slab is out of square or it's 2 inches long or 2 inches short? Now none of your wall panels, they don't fit. And that's a real concern. And I've seen that, my entire career. And so rectifying site condition, the digital model has always been something that's eluded us. We rely on the trades that work before us to do a good job and have all the information. But it just doesn't always happen. And that's the constraint of reality. And so what we deployed is now as a framing contractor, and really more than that, we're out early. We're out when we have plumbers coming out of the ground, and we're verifying with a proprietary process exactly where every plumbing penetration goes, the geometry of the foundation, where anchor bolts are going to lay out. to the point now where we don't even have bolt to stud conflicts because we're coordinating that and providing the trades, providing the concrete contractors with bolt layouts. So we're not out here, cutting anchor bolts because they interfere with a component.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's an assembly process versus a construction site is what I'm hearing.
That's exactly right. Yep. And that's that execution control that we've been after and that the industry's missed.
AI, let's talk about that. Everybody's talking about AI, right? Most people think of AI, they think of Claude or Chat GPT or something on that lines. Where is AI actually creating value inside of FrameTech? Not theoretically, but every single day. I mean, you guys are using it inside and out, correct?
Yeah, so we use it really, really heavily. With one caveat is AI is just another tool in the toolbox. AI is not going to solve construction. It's not going to do anything else. AI, the way I use it personally, is a very capable administrative assistant. But that's about it. And I think we need to square with that because I guarantee you that AI is not going to replace the guys across the street swinging a hammer. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen with robotics. So I think there's a ton of good things coming out of that space and a lot of solutions being deployed. I think that the hype is definitely going to simmer down once people realize that, hey, it can do a lot of things well, but it can't do everything well. But digesting massive amounts of information, documenting things, filling out forms, it does really, really good with that. Looking for conflicts, looking for changes from plan set to plan set. Those are where we're deploying those types of tools. Going through our output files that go from our design department out to our production floor and basically debugging those files. Writing code to move nail spacing or stagger our nailing at the end of a wall so we don't split our bottom plates and top plates. Little things like that, it does tremendously well. But again, it's a tool and nothing more.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about trade acceptance. That's one of the bigger things here when people think of offsite construction, whether it's modular, mass timber, panelization like you're doing. Trades often feel like they're getting replaced or they're losing business or it's less work on the job for them. The one thing that I appreciate about your system is you're not trying to replace the trades. Instead, you're actually trying to help them become more productive. Have your electricians, plumbers, framers, and anybody else on the job site responded in a negative way, or are they embracing this?
They're really embracing it. And that's been one thing that I've seen, that we failed as an industry as we come in and we say, hey, the answer is closed wall panels. And we're going to put electrical and insulation and everything in the factory because that's a more efficient way to do it. And it very well may be. But what you have to realize is you are displacing workers out in the field. And the guys that you're displacing, what I think we miss in construction leadership and just in general in communities is that a tradesman is a tradesman and that's not his job. That's his identity. So when you come and you say, hey, I can do this better than you in the factory, you're not just insulting the guy's work. You're insulting his very identity. So when I say, hey, I can pull electrical wire or wire a box or a switch better in the factory, that's a stretch for these guys to get on board with in the field. So that's really what we've strive to do is not displace or replace anybody out in the field or make too many waves in the supply chain because we rely on all those people, factory or not. So what we're trying to do here at FrameTech is build panels that basically just make it easier for the other trades to interact with. So pre-drilling all of our studs for the electricians, adding backing in the necessary locations for the plumbers, and then all the benefits of our Dusty Robotics multi-trade layout that helps all those guys coordinate. Because look, if we can make the trades that we interact with more successful and we can move through the unit faster together and we have a more cohesive trade base, that's actual value delivered to the builder and to the consumer.
Yeah, 100%. And I love the idea that you're actually using the robotics on site to label and mark the, foundation or slab or even the wall or the floor system. Basically, I mean, it's a plug and play for anybody that's on site. And with the trade issue that we have, I would have to imagine it's helping the framers enormously bring on people that do not have the same skill as them, really, really help them be effective and precise on what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's the other goal, right? Is just to make these guys quicker and then become a contractor that when those other trades follow us, they can train guys up. But really, David, it's making the locations that these things go and interact with unavoidable. So if there's an outlet box marked, there's a stud right where it goes. And actually, in this particular house, I can probably show you one. But this is our Dusty Robotics multi-trade layout, and you can see there's an outlet box there, and that stud is in perfect location. So this is consistent throughout the entire house. Again, it's unavoidable. That electrician knows that right there at that location, right there at that mark, an outlet box needs to live there. And so we've seen a 5x increase in labor efficiency with the electricians that follow us, just because they don't have to pull a measuring tape out of their bags. They don't have to look at the plan set. All they do is grab the blue box and hit the nail. So if you could scale that, say that's aggressive, but say you could scale labor productivity by 3 or 4x nationally, that solves the housing crisis and the affordability crisis in years, not decades.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. All right, so the big question everybody always asks, and you made a comment in that video, is the economics, right? Conservatively, the savings could be as little as $16,000 up to $28,000 or more per home. Where does that actual value show up? Who feels it first? Is it the builder, the developer, the homeowner? Is it you? Where's that value coming from?
Well, we're delivering that value, to the builder. That's, everything from cycle time reduction to the decrease in waste, right? We have, less than probably 14 yards of trash that comes off these jobs at the end of them, with a panel job where you're probably pushing 40 to 80 yards on a stick frame house, depending on the size. So those are kind of the immediate values that go right back to the builders. And then obviously, those labor rate efficiencies, the fact that the electricians can box out, 5 times faster, all that savings and that profitability obviously goes back to the contractors. Now, what those guys do with it, what the builder does with it, obviously is above my pay grade. I would very much like to see it go towards the price of the house so we can fix the affordability crisis and get the people that are actually building these homes into them.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot of people's goal, is to actually fix the affordability housing side of this and get people back into it. What actually has to happen? Let's say we're talking 5 years from now, right? What do you see, as your goal? You're doing it at FrameTech. What if I'm a developer, I'm a policymaker, I'm an investor, and I'm watching this conversation in the video that we played? What are you inspiring me or getting me to think in my mind? What questions should I be asking myself so we can actually scale the affordability side of this?
Well, first and foremost, ask yourself, what can the supply chain currently do, right? And not just the supply chain, consumer expectations, building codes, et cetera, et cetera. Recognize the real constraints that we have. If we went to all 3D printed homes in the US right now, we don't have enough batch plant capacity to make enough concrete to do it. So there's these constraints that just have to be realized. We have a supply chain that has been doing wood framed houses for 150, 200 years. So let's leverage that. Let's fix the problems that we need to fix. But I would say, first and foremost, realize and recognize the constraints that the industry is under. And then what is the most reasonable solution? We need execution control. We know that the lowest hanging fruit is rework. It's quality, and then labor rate efficiency. That, if you look at it across the board, the increase in cost is coming almost entirely from labor rate inefficiency, and that could be at the manufacturing level and the distribution pipeline, or out on the job site. The only real way to make things more affordable is to be more efficient, and that's really what the FrameTech formula strives to do and is doing. That's the other caveat is, FrameTech now in 18 months, we have over 2 million square feet of structures built. That's a lot of houses that we're out proving that this formula is accepted in the industry right now and is having an impact. So I think that's probably, Dave, first and foremost, what you'd want to balance is, hey, and look, I love all these other crazy ideas, but they're 100 years out from being widely accepted. Yeah, for sure. Josh, we've covered a lot on this. I know your time is limited because you got houses to build, and I can see that right from behind you there.
is there anything that we missed, or is there anything you want to leave, or anything that I didn't ask you that you feels super, super important for our audience to know?
No, Dave, I think, the things are, let's focus on the field. Let's make the guys that are out on the job sites better. Let's bring some excitement back to the trades. I think that there can be a renaissance in pride in the trades and how we put houses together. I think it's a great opportunity for young people. Obviously, there's a huge hole, a huge shortage with, most of our industry set to retire here in the next 10 years. So if you're a younger guy listening to this, get in the trades. And if you're an older guy listening to this, encourage a younger guy to get in the trades. And then let's build factories that are thinking field first. I think that's key to it all. Let's fix the problem where the problem actually lives.
I love it. You should have a t-shirt. We're thinking about the field first, right? But listen, in reality, Josh, and I'm going to close with this too, is every trade, every manufacturer should be thinking about who follows them, right? A lot of times they just show up, they worry about their own thing, they cut somebody else's stuff because it's in the way. They're not really thinking through. It sounds like a system like this helps eliminate a lot of that and allows everybody to be synchronized and move forward. So, and I agree with you. We got to be able to work with what we have, right? How do we do more with less? That's where we're at right now when it comes to the trades. And your system is all about, we're giving you the tools to do a lot more work with less qualified people.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. Josh, don't go anywhere. I'll come back to you after we end the show here and chat for just a second. Thank you so much for joining us. And I love it that you're on the job site, man. You look super cool in those glasses, by the way. It's a good look for you. All right. Hang tight. All right, everybody. Listen, thank you so much. This has been a great show. Listen, Dave Cooper Live is a media-driven industry platform connecting leaders across the built environment and the ecosystem, including developers, builders, architects, engineers, manufacturers, technology companies, investors, policymakers, and innovators. We do executive interviews. We do original media, on-location storytelling, industry events, and curated leadership gatherings. Basically, we've created a trusted environment where ideas gain visibility, relationships form, and opportunities move forward. Our purpose here at Dave Cooper Live is not simply to report on the transformation of the built environment. It is to help connect and accelerate it. So if you enjoy what we're doing here and you want to be a part of what we do, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you as a supporting member. We'd love to have you as a guest on the show. As you can see right up in the ticker up there, not ticker, I'm sorry, the QR code. Join us, be part of everything that we do because it is super important. We're here to help grow this industry. We're here to make changes in this industry, one conversation at a time, one connection at a time. So everyone, thank you so much for watching today. I'm Dave Cooper. We'll see you next time. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.